of the month of July, the 7th month of the year 2026. I want to believe that this morning you're doing very well, you're living healthy, and of course that you're grateful to the Most High God, the grand architect of the universe, for keeping you here up until today. Every day when we wake up, it becomes a daily reminder of God's mercies and grace upon our lives. Some people did not make it up to this day. Some slept and did not wake up. But today you're here, you're alive, you're kicking, you're healthy, and you're able to move around and do the things that matter to you. And so on that note, it's important that we give gratitude to God for keeping up until today, and we continue to pray that He keeps us for the many more years that we have ahead of us, so that we're able to fulfill destiny. And may He only take us when He is pleased with us and when destiny has been fulfilled and our job on earth is done. And so on this morning, we say big salutes to God the Most High for keeping us until today. There's definitely a lot that we have for you on the show today. Don't forget that the media budget review will be read today in Parliament by the Finance Minister, the Honorable Dr. Kasel Ato-Forsin. We're supposed to bring you that program at 2 p.m. today, live from the precincts of Parliament. We'll also have a pre-discussion about the media budget review, get into all of the expectations of the Ghanaian people. We'll discuss that briefly on the show today as well, before we bring you later that bit of the conversation before the budget is read. But we'll definitely have some bite on it this morning. We'll invite you to share your take as well, what your expectations really are. What do you want to hear the Finance Minister talk about? Which of the government initiatives or policies or programs would you want more updates on in terms of implementation, and in terms of what next steps would be taken? Of course, there are two things that we're expecting. Either the Finance Minister would only come and give us an update on what has been done so far and what would be done going forward, that is from July up onto December of the year, or whether he's coming with whether he's coming with a motion, hoping that we would approve some more items for him. We'll see what that would present today when he comes to Parliament. But away from that, let's walk through some of the things that are happening. Yesterday, the 14th memorial lecture for the late President, His Excellency John Evansa Tamils, was held yesterday at the UPSA auditorium. Had so many speeches from some prominent Ghanaians eulogizing the man, Professor John Evansa Tamils, and what they believe as Ghanaians we must do to honor the memory of this great man, popularly known as the Asumdwe Hene. Aside that, yesterday there was also the African Union Extraordinary Summit on Health. It was held here in Ghana, hosted by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. We had heads of states all across the continent coming here to have that conversation. And during his address, His Excellency the President revealed that over 90 million Africans are living with hepatitis B and C undiagnosed. That's very troubling statistics. And you know, His Excellency, ever since he assumed office, has led conversations on health sovereignty. If you remember the Accra Reset and what it seeks to achieve. And so these conversations are still ongoing as to how the African people and the African continent can, take care of their own health needs and not have to rely on support from foreign donors and all of that. You remember, if you take a cursory look at what happened with the USAID and all of that. So clearly, it's right. It's time that Africa positions itself to be able to take care of its own health needs. And all of these conversations that keep happening all around the continent, spearheaded by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, are meant to achieve some of these objectives that have been set as far as the Accra Reset and all of that is concerned. Away from that, Ghana and Morocco have signed some 7 agreements to help boost the partnership between both countries. If you quite remember, sometime last year we signed a visa waiver agreement with Morocco that allows Ghanaian citizens to be able to travel to Morocco without needing to first apply for visas and all of that. And we've had quite a really good relationship with the Moroccan government and the Moroccan people for some time now. You can talk about all of the numerous scholarship opportunities that exist for Ghanaian citizens who want to study in Morocco. And so some really good stuff happening there. Kudos to the Foreign Affairs Minister. Parliament approves a $300 million World Bank facility for secondary education transformation project. If you followed His Excellency the President during his tour of the Volta region, he did make mention of the fact that the government was definitely going to take a 300 million World Bank facility to help transform our secondary education. We've heard government has informed us that there are plans to end the double track system, and what that means is that huge investments would have to be made in the pre-tertiary education stage, that is in the secondary school stage, and that would require the construction of new classroom blocks, the construction of dormitories, the construction of dining halls, of IT laboratories, and what have you, and you know, bungalows for staff. And so basically what this $300 million facility is meant to do is to get into that space and develop infrastructure for the expansion of our secondary schools, and also to build some new secondary schools in some parts of the country, so that we can bring an end to the double track system, so our kids would not have to go to school in batches. And so that's what that facility is meant for. Away from that, the European Union has also supported the Office of the Special Prosecutor with some 700,000 euros worth of forensic lab and interview rooms, and so that's also some good news coming up from there. Hopefully we'll see some more let me leave it at that. I don't have a lawyer. Also, the police have arrested some 26 suspects in the Greater Accra region and rescued 33 trafficking victims in some cyber crime crackdown that took place a few days ago. Bank of Ghana has warned that rejecting the coins, the Ghana coins, the pesos, could land traders in jail. Because of late there have been reports of some traders and trotro drivers and mates not accepting the coins. But let's not forget that they are legal tender, and once the bank releases them, means that they are meant to be spent. So why do you reject them? So Bank of Ghana is warning that you could end up in jail for not accepting the peso coins. So please take note of that. GTech has directed universities to stop using entrance exam as precondition for admission. That's definitely something interesting. I want to take Randy and Godfred's take on that when they sit in with me this morning. I don't support arrest or prosecutions in my name. Dr. Bawumia calls for release of NDC organizer facing prosecution. Interesting one. I definitely want to hear what Godfred and Randy have to say about it as well. And the NASPA suspends a 60 cedis allowance deduction for capacity building program after public backlash. Of course, I mean, Black Queens guaranteed $150,000 as 2026 WAPCON participation fee, and those are some of the issues trending in our country so far as news is concerned. We'll definitely be delving into a few of them when Randy and Godfred sit in, but let's walk through the word of motivation that I have prepared for you this morning. It says, the more you know who you are and what you want, the less you let things upset you. The more you know who you are and what you want, the less you let things upset you. This is from Stephanie Perkins, and it's quite similar to an advice my father gives me every time. He says, Adams, once you know somebody, you never let the person, anything they do, get to you, right? So it's the same thing, but this time around it is once you know yourself and what you want, you don't let things get to you. You don't let things upset you, because you know who you are and what you're looking for and where you're headed and what you're doing. And you don't let backing dogs distract you. Keep moving. You're going somewhere, you get into the middle of the road, there are dogs that are backing indiscriminately. It's not your business. They are not backing for you. Just focus and move. So the more you know who you are, right, and what you want, the less you let things upset you. Think about it deeply, about it and what it has to tell you this morning, so you know that this is me, this is how I react to issues, this is how I do my things, blah 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 blah. This is what I'm looking for. Don't let the distractions get to you. That's basically what Stephanie Perkins is telling us this morning, that we must not allow distractions get to us. We must not allow people distract us. We must not allow things distract us. We must not allow anything or anybody scare you from the mandate that you're trying to achieve. So always have that at the back of your mind, that you know yourself, that you know what you want. And so because of that, you're not going to allow anything or anybody distract you, or anyone stand in your way or preventing you to get to where you want to get to. Take that from Stephanie Perkins this morning and let that guide how you go about your life and how you go about your activities and all of the things that you do. For weather this morning, we're experiencing some light showers, some drizzles this morning out there. If you're already outside, you can tell. If you're not outside, just slide your curtains and take a look outside. There's some light showers we're experiencing this morning. It's really cloudy, still dark out there this morning. The temperature though is 25 degrees Celsius, so it might feel somewhat hot, but it's drizzling out there. It looks like we're going to experience some good rains this morning today in Accra. It's going to take us all the way till about noon today. And so as usual, my advice would be that if you live in a safe place already and it's not necessary to go out, don't go out. If where you're living is not so safe, you may want to find somewhere safer just to perch for the time being. But if it's not necessary, don't go out. But if you're coming out, just make sure that you wear the appropriate clothing. Make sure you wear something warm. Grab your raincoat, grab your umbrella, grab your poncho or whatever it is, and just put it on and be safe out there in whatever it is that you do. Stay with us. We'll come back with more after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Big game today as Ghana faces England. And the whole nation is ready. Shot on target. Oh, what a save! Benjamin Asari flying for Ghana.
What is it? It's a save. Politics is always safe.
Every day, in the moments we love, we rely on clean and safe water that flows from Polytank.
It's not about the 90 minutes, it's what you put into the 90 minutes. It's not just about the win, it's about the will to win. It's not just about the jollof, it's about what's inside. This advert is FDA approved. It's not just about the game, it's what you put into it.
Now there's more Kivo inside. More to enjoy, more to share. Fortified with iron, zinc, and vitamin A.
More Kivo inside, more joy for you. More Kivo inside.
No matter who you are or where you are, Kivo has got you. Kivo Gary Soaking Mix, a taste of Ghana.
Kivo you.
This advert is FDA approved.
years ago, MTN arrived in Ghana and everything changed. It's time to celebrate you big time. The MTN at 30 promo is here. Win one of 9 Toyota Land Cruiser Prados. Your share of over 10 million Ghana cedis in rewards. Let's be your connection plug in your everyday hustle. Make video calls, browse the internet for business with family and friends. Make that money move and stay ahead. Because every move counts. Dial *530# or visit my MTN app for more.
So results be a coffee faba. Hey, Milia, where are you?
Daddy!
Yeah? How did it go?
Social studies, excellent. English, excellent. Science, excellent. Mathematics, excellent.
Every subject, excellent. What are man? Me. Choose Excellence Series from Fresh to SHS. They are GES approved and they are trusted for over 15 years. You can find Excellence Series across the whole country. Excellence Series. Excellent results are assured. Umecha Excellence.
Well, not too long ago, the great President John Mahama went to the United Nations and spoke for my people of Jamaica and the Caribbean and the Americas. And you said, we are not looking a handout, but recognition of what took place in the transatlantic slave trade. I thank you, my president. I am a child who suffer from this. Chains on my feet, whip in the hand. And tonight I sing a song to go along with your mission of reparations. Not a handout, but to acknowledge. But we're gonna do it not just reggae style, we're gonna do it high life. A high life remix by me, Graham Smargan of Morgan Heritage. Oh, President Mahama, I thank you for saying what you said at the United Nations. Reparations, justice must come. Africa and the Caribbean as one. Zimbabwe, not charity, but exposing them both. Now a new day of justice is born. Across the ocean, torn from the land. Chains on my feet, whip in the hand. But your light carried us through the storms. Now a new day of justice is born. Reparations, justice must come, yeah. Africa and the Caribbean as one. Not charity, but exposing them both. Now a new day of justice is born. Reparations, justice must come. Africa and the Caribbean as one. Not charity, but exposing them both. Now a new day of justice is born. Africa crying out loud. Now a new day of justice is born. Mahama, I give you strength. From Ghana to Zimbabwe, we thank you for holding the way. We say, Mahama, must come. Africa and the Caribbean as one. I say from Jamaica right to Accra. Now a new day of justice is born. Play it low. Across the ocean, I was torn from the land. There was chains on my feet, whip in the hand. But Jah light carried us through the storms. Now a new day of justice is born. Mahama, Africa, and
reparations, justice must come. Africa and the Caribbean as one. Charlie, the song, it carries some spiritual AEB. Anyway, Charlie, good morning, guys. Have your enjoyment.
Yeah, good morning, my guy. How are you?
Charlie, the chillo.
Yeah.
I wish viewers could see your socks. It's given.
Don't, come on.
No, it's
come on, take my shoe.
Come on, take my shoe.
Don't misbehave. Don't misbehave.
The socks is given.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the shoes. I have to suspect they are from Giddens.
Oh, Medina.
It makes sense.
Oh, it's from Medina.
It's from
Jonas.
That's right.
In fact, I'll see Jonas, I'll see Selassie, I'll see Shaw, and then promise in the X here.
Good one. Robert, how are you doing though?
I'm fine.
Well?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, we were blessed with early morning showers.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's still raining out there.
It is.
But, I mean, we were blessed with. I just pray that we don't get the same issue we got some months back. That reminds me of how we have gone back. We have retarded again. Look, let's be serious as a people. We don't have to wait again for President Mahama to announce that next week Saturday, let's go and clean.
Absolutely.
It's been how many weeks now? The gutters are choked again. The gutters are choked again. Look, we seem to be playing with fire every now and then.
Yeah.
We go in cycles. And when the fire burns us, then we are screaming. Carrie, look at the quantum of fields we desilted last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers, the size, the volume of field that choked our drains, that choked our gutters. How are we doing it?
Because we are
I'm saying irresponsible people.
Of reactionary people.
And it is bad.
Yeah.
Karim, I went through Medina and I told you yesterday, what is my route now? It is terrible. Look, if they tell you that we did cleanup exercise barely 2 weeks, you will be surprised. You will be shocked to the core because the places are dirty again. The gutters are choked again. Because some places we left the debris right on the trunk of the road.
Yeah, and we never cleared.
It's
all gone back.
So it's gone back.
Yeah.
We left everything at the shoulders of the road. So they are all gone back to the drains. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Then, if it happens again, we'll carry our hands in the air, throw our hands in the air, and shout, Abai Beboy. Why? And I'm saying, Karim, you are the woman selling wache in Medina Market.
Yeah.
Are you not concerned that if typhoid comes out, I mean, if cholera outbreak comes, people will not come and buy your wache? So why don't you keep your environment clean?
Yeah.
And these are Christians and Muslims.
Yeah.
And I know your Quran also talks about cleanliness.
Yeah, because it's part of faith.
Our Bible talks about it.
Yeah.
Majority of us, about 75-80% of us, are Christians and also Muslims. So if our faith tells us that cleanliness is next to godliness, why are we not practicing it? I am hurt this morning that we might lose, innocent souls again. Yeah. We might use money that will ordinarily be spent on constructing schools.
Yeah.
Will be used on constructing roads, building hospitals, and the other very basic needs of every human.
Yeah.
We'll be using it to treat people. We'll be using it to send people to hospitals. It doesn't make sense.
It is well.
Girlfriend,
Charlie, good morning.
Good morning.
Everything good?
Yes, everything.
Charlie, you shout out.
no be
please don't mention my name.
Randy's announcement.
Charlie. I got Charlie. He just they come down from Belarus. That's right.
If you read this announcement,
what announcement?
What Randy calls up?
No, but Charlie, the suit and tie is solid.
Yeah.
Let's price.
That's right.
Let's price it.
That's right. Charlie, if we start, we'll finish now. This one is budget review.
This is Lanvin.
That's right.
Lanvin. It's not local. I mean, okay, straight
Charlie,
from
this guy.
From where?
If you get fuck, you go take drink tea. This one.
This is US.
Okay.
Straight. Shout out to Auntie Kuku and Mama Mansa.
Okay.
My two moms in the US.
Okay. Can I?
Oh, you can.
Yeah. Okay. When you're serious,
it's not that long.
When you're serious, Charlie. Anyway. Charlie, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm good.
Randy has said what's on his chest.
Yeah, I mean, and what's on his chest is, I think it's on the chest of everybody in this country. But then I wouldn't want to talk about that because I don't know who to blame in this situation, the citizenry or the government, because you all have a role to play after the cleanup. What happened after it? You know, beyond the cleanup, I mean, what measures did we, the authorities, bring up to ensure that because look, the reason we elect leaders is that if you leave us, you do what you want. That's why laws are there. That's why we make laws to guide us. So that's why we elect leaders to lead us. And so probably if we are to leave the people that, okay, after cleaning up, go back and sin no more, do this, you will still sin. Understand? And so this issue goes beyond the citizenry being just responsible. I can be responsible. I can clean my house. I mean, clean my frontage. But where do I take the garbage to? I mean, in your area that you just mentioned of, do you know of any dumping site in your area?
Oh, when you say dumping site there, dumping site there, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But what do you mean by dumping sites?
Where the final disposal area.
Oh no, we don't have that in central part of Accra.
Do we have any? Yes. So
but they have reactivated the Zoom Lion Transit. Is that the point? Is that the name?
Yes. Yeah. And do you know any who will come and collect them?
Oh no, maybe I don't get what you're saying. So the final disposal point. Yes. That's what you're asking. Right?
So after me sweeping, where do I take them to? Who will come and collect them?
Your guys will come.
You see? So at what point would they come? Because probably I may be leaving home.
I think that you see, we have a general problem.
Yes.
When it comes to our sanitation situation in the country, and you see, it's better for us to admit that as a huge challenge. And we start taking intentional steps towards solving the challenge. When I say it's a huge challenge, and like Godfrey just mentioned, I am done cleaning my house. I gather everything. Where do I put it? That's number one. After putting it there, who comes for it? And when the person picks it, where does it end up? You get it? So that's point number 2 and point number 3. Those are the things that we need to look at. And in the case of the person picking it up or collecting it, are we paying for it?
Who pays?
How many people? That's what I'm saying. So are we paying? How many people are paying? Who is supposed to pay? Okay? If it's me, the individual, is it a monthly subscription? Like the way, I mean, so in my house, I pay every day for collection. Okay, I pay to Zoom Lion. They come and collect. I think they come twice a week or so, sometimes once a week, depending on with their schedule. But they come and pick up. All I need to do is just make sure that the bin is moved in front of the house on the day of collection or the day of pickup. Then they come and pick up and take it away, and I pay. Okay. What about everybody else? What system have we put in place to ensure that people do not dispose of waste indiscriminately?
But should that not be the same way? The way you are doing it.
That's what I'm saying. So what you see, it's a conversation that we need to have and firm it up. And you see, this is a conversation that we must empower the MMDCs. I mean, I've always said that the reason why we are having all these challenges that we are having, Randy and Godfrey, is that we have a very, I'm trying to find the right words, but I think that it's our local governance system is not working.
Yeah, we have a weak system.
It's not working. It's failed. If this is what the, His Excellency the late Jerry John Rawlings envisioned for setting up the local governance system, right? But I don't think that we are doing what he expects us to do. Because when you say decentralization, what you're basically saying is that we are leaving the operation and the running of that part of the state to a certain group to deal with, represent the interests of the president where you find yourself as a DC or as an MC. So why must it be such that we claim we have decentralized, yet everything that happens in this country still happens at the top? Everything still happens from central government. Every instruction from central government. Every blah 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 central government. So at the end of the day, there's nothing really that is happening at the local governance level. That is number one. You pick number two. I also think that the way we recruit our MMDCs is a large part of the problem too, and we must admit. You see, there are some issues about governance. Me, when I talk about them as honestly as possible, because we must not do politics with everything. How we recruit, how we appoint, Randy, our MMDCs is a greater part of the problem. How? Because the MMDC appointment becomes reward for party people, and not necessarily appointment of competent and passionate people who are concerned about development.
I agree.
You see, this is local governance we are talking about. They are responsible for governance within the district or the municipal or the metropolitan assembly. So why would we not look for people who actually understand public administration? Why would we not look for people who actually understand community development?
They'll argue that, not to cut you, but they'll argue that there are technical directors there. So you being the MC, you are just having an oversight responsibility. Technical directors, I don't know if you get the point.
And I get where you're coming from. But the technical directors that we talk about, a lot of them have been in those places for many years.
Yes.
What have they achieved? So you need a leader who understands the space, comes into the space and directs the vision. Because some of those technical directors and those civil servants and those people who stay in those places, a lot of them are even more thieves than the politicians who come there. That's the fact of the matter. So if you go and you don't understand the space, and you assume that there's a technical director or somebody who understands the space better, don't you think that it is recipe for the person to mislead you or misdirect you?
Well,
because the person knows that, oh, so we cried the own name, you know, we are your party chairman, be an secretary, be an organizer, be near the naba, or no sooner reward away, and the naba set on better national bay. So they mislead you. But at the end of the day, you're unable to achieve nothing. Randy, tell me why on earth you'll be driving on a road in this country and the road has become so weedy that the weeds have eaten into part of the road. When you are going to the Volta region, some of the roads have become so narrow. Road that two cars should be able to pass on has become so narrow that when the two cars get there, they will have to give each other. Sorry. Yeah. They have to give each other space. Meanwhile, there's a DC, there's an MC. Why is it that, Randy, we drive on roads in this country and there are potholes, small potholes that at the assembly level, they should be able to immediately arrange a contractor to come and fix it? Why must we wait for those things to be done from the top? It has to take road ministry to give contract for pothole patching. For a surface dressing. Why? I don't know if you're getting my point. So we have a failed local governance system. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. And this is been years of failure. It's not just now. So we must fix that. And perhaps if we're able to fix the local governance system properly and give the assembly some level of autonomy to fix some of these issues, and I'm sure we'll be making headway.
Are you sure that
let me add this one. The cracking of the whip. It's a conversation we've always had. That we always have failed to crack the whip. Recently, I saw that in one district like that, they were arresting animals. Okay, they were moving around on the streets, free range. Meanwhile, in the nation's capital of Accra, and in the nation's capital of Accra, sometimes you'll be driving on this N1 and you find cattle. I mean, sometimes even in front of our own Jubilee House. I'm telling you for a fact. Sometimes you are driving. I'm telling you for a fact. In front of our presidency, then you find a sheep or goat.
From where?
Only God knows, Randy. Randy, only God knows. In our prime neighborhoods, you are driving in East Legon. Then there are cattle walking indiscriminately on the road, pooing everywhere. I mean, come on. Then we say we have. Look, during this Eid celebration, Nima, and the median of the road, and people were allowed to be selling animals. What kind of country is this? Please, we must learn to crack the whip. When people misbehave, let the laws deal with them. You see, if we don't start cracking the whip on simple, small things like this, how do we crack the whip on the harder things? Now back to sanitation issues. What I think, Randy, is that before anybody even goes to get a permit from any assembly, as part of their plan for their house, they should be able to indicate how they intend to deal with waste. Everybody should be able to indicate how they intend to deal with the waste that will be generated from their house. That is for residential people. 2, commercial, the same. If I'm putting up shops or stores, I should be able to tell the assembly, this is how I intend to deal with waste. And you see, the laws must be there. There must be some basics that everybody must cover. To say, okay, every store must perhaps have its own bin. That is number 1. Then 2, the store itself gets a bigger bin in a secluded place. Cover it nicely. So when the smaller ones are full, they go and dispose there. And you have an arrangement with Zoomla. They come with a big truck. They come and pick it, dispose it off, and replace the bin for you. How difficult is this for people to do? Why must it be so difficult that in a country of just 32 or 33 million people, we cannot handle common waste, common bola? When other countries that have huge populations are able to handle waste easily, to the point that people are even recycling waste into electricity. People are recycling waste water. When you bath and cook and all the water, the waste water that runs through your pipes, people are able to pick that water and recycle it again for reuse. Countries like Dubai that never even had water. I don't think anybody will travel to the UAE or any country at all living in the Middle East that would have water issues. If you want to open your tap from morning to evening, the taps will flow. So what is our problem? What is our problem? Charlie, anyway, Randy, over to you.
Anyway, change in attitude. For me, I always say that whatever problem we are faced with as a people, it's us. It's about attitudinal change. Because I don't see the reason why I'll sweep my house, I'll sweep my compound very neatly, gather the rubbish, pack them in a rubber, and go and dump them in the nearest gutter.
Randy, have you been forced to dispose a sachet of water because you don't have anywhere to put it?
No, I am very disciplined on that. So if you check my bag, my backpack, the side pocket, last night I think Sami also or Isaac, they were actually teasing me that fine guy like you have dirty stuff in your bag. So I am very cautious about that.
Okay,
right? I always keep sachet, rubber and all those things in my bag. So because once I don't have any place to dispose them off,
so why must we not have a place to dispose?
No, so that's another point, and that's what Karim mentioned.
So we can change our
that
behavior.
whilst we are calling on people,
we can change our behavior. We've been calling for behavioral change for so many years.
Yeah, more than almost 70 years now.
So you ask yourself, why do we still call for it and nothing is happening?
So what do you think should be done?
You can change your behavior, but the system will bring you back to square zero. It's fact.
So you are looking at it because from the system failure.
I'm sure that you stopped along the way to urinate in the bush before.
No,
you haven't done that before.
Maybe some years ago.
Okay, but then we do. People do. You see them. Why? I don't blame anybody doing it because you can't. Embark on a journey from here to Kaswa. And you feel that edge, and you have nowhere to ease yourself. Why can't you do this? If we see sanitation as a major health issue, why can't we commit some resources or be intentional about improving it? This morning when you're leaving home, maybe you will sweep your room or your compound or whatever. Gather it. We watch movies. The foreign countries watch. Early morning you see the trash in front of their doors. They know that those collectors will come around to collect them. No matter what, they will come and collect them. Don't come back home and see them there. But if I collect if I do this, I sweep and gather them and I leave them in front of my door and I'll come back to meet it again, then nothing is working.
But there are baller collectors, there are Boya guys. So you contract them. So for me, in my area, or in my house, for instance, I think they come twice every week.
Aboboya should not be collecting.
They are not even authorized.
Oh yes, I
don't know where they are.
But that is what we
sometimes they just dispose them anywhere.
Take the refuse to?
Yes, sometimes
dumping sites. Lavender Hill.
You see.
Lavender Hill.
So I mean, the issue goes beyond behavior.
Yes, so I think the final
as we are changing our
disposal point is also a major factor. I agree with whatever you're saying. I totally agree that whilst we are shouting and ranting as far as attitudinal change is concerned, the system also needs to meet us halfway. Because if I'm walking all the way from here to say Accra Mall, and I don't have any bin or trash can along the stretch for me to dump these rubbish, I am tempted. I am forced to just drop it out. Maybe not me, but somebody out there might not be responsible as I may be. So they drop it there, and that is where the system failure comes in.
You know that if you have a strong system, it will force people to change their behavior.
Oh yes,
you will live by it.
Yes, and
because
I think that is what the developed countries are doing.
From this country,
and they go to Ablochi and they behave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They come back and they feel like doing anything they want because there's no system that is checking up on them. And so that is it. I mean, it goes beyond all that we've been called, because we've been cleaning from day. I remember from Atamil's time, there was a declaration of sanitation days and all the cleaning.
Every Saturday
of every month or so.
Almost 20 years now. We are still seeing the same.
No, we've been dealing with flood issues for how many years? The first time we read that story,
even beyond the flood, I mean the sanitation issue.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
We are a country of record that we've been recording cholera outbreaks and all that as a result of all these things. So at least we should be proactive in that way. Try different steps apart from just the cleaning. We should try something else.
Well, I think what we can also do is that let's encourage private institutions to come up with recycling plants. Imagine, say, Ayawasu West has a mini recycling plant somewhere. Okay, not even necessarily the private institutions. If government commits to it, it can be done. So whatever, I mean, especially the plastic waste, if we are able to separate them from the liquid and whatever, those, I mean, the very ones that we can recycle can easily go to all of these recycling plants or institutions. You get it? So even if we do it on district basis, not on a wholesale basis, but gradual process, I think this will go a long way to even help some of these things. Because people pick rubbish for money. You go to events, social gatherings, after drinking, whatever. People go around, pick rubbish.
In Ghana, you import plastic waste.
Yes. Meanwhile, we produce a lot of we produce a lot of waste
because you're able to collect them.
So let's be intentional.
Yeah.
When we are able to fix that problem, I think it will go a long way to solve the problem. Look at this. It's terrible sometimes. And Karim, you are fortunate. So you drive. You don't get to meet these things on daily basis. We go through this every morning.
I think this is the aftermath of the flood.
The cleanup.
Yes.
And I'm happy that AMA...
Which area is this? You covered this?
Is it Aveno?
No, either you or Belinda.
It's me. Okay. It's me. I just want to get the pronunciation. Is it
yes, Aveno.
Yes, that's Aveno.
So this was after the flood.
Yeah, so this AMA's initiative.
Okay.
And as I speak, AMA, because of this, they've generated revenue 2.4 million Ghana cedis to buy 2 compactors.
Take that again. So they got the revenue generated came from where?
So with partnership from other, and they've bought 2 compactors that will be going around the Accra metropolis to collect the refuse.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. So the assemblies again have a very important role to play. So if Medina, Karim, Medina is what, Langquantanan, right?
Yeah,
Langquantanan. Yes. If they are able to also do the same thing, gradually you realize that assemblies will empower themselves with some of these tools. So Adenta has it.
You see,
right?
we must have a dedicated levy for producers of waste. If you produce plastic waste, the government should be able to charge you an extra levy. If you produce fabrics, the government I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, these are the things that end up as filth that we need to clear. And so when we are charging you those extra levies, then we expect that the government will use those levies to do the appropriate things. Because you see, the whole conversation even about the cleanup and what have you had its own arguments about why people are paying taxes to the state and it must take them to come out to clean common areas. I don't know if you're getting my point.
Yeah.
If I'm paying taxes to the state I expect that the state will be responsible for cleaning the common areas. I will clean my house, but the market should not be my responsibility. The trotro station or bus station or taxi station should not be my responsibility. I don't know if you're getting me. So all of these are conversations that keep popping up that we must look into.
But Karim, you see, that's not our culture. I'm coming on. That's not our culture as a people.
Granted.
What you're saying is very legit.
Taxes are not our culture.
No, what I'm saying is that no,
I will not pay.
No, hold on.
Tax.
Hold on. Get the point I'm building. We are a people that
we live in communal labor.
Communal
granted, no doubt about it.
You get it? That's how we were brought up.
Yes.
So I'm saying that it is not our culture to say, okay, for a fact that I am paying taxes, so when there is a need for me to go and clean the nearest gutter in my area, I decide not to go.
No, but so you
are not under any obligation.
The taxes I'm paying, what are they meant?
Yes, I am saying that is good. But mind you that not everybody will be captured in that.
Culture.
It cannot change.
No, it can change.
Even the US have culture.
It can change.
The developed countries have culture.
Granted, but
and they protect their culture.
Granted, but what I'm saying is that, you see, what I'm saying is that if we're saying that we have culture, I'm not.
But am I using the wrong word?
No. That's exactly. I'm not disputing the fact that there is a general, attitude of communal labor.
Yeah.
Okay, amongst us as Ghanaians, that is who we are. We've always known that. We've always done it. That sometimes our chiefs will call us and say, today we are all going here to go and clean. We are going here to go and do this. We see Domahene do that a lot in his place.
Exactly.
Okay, that's who we are. But what I'm saying is that we pay a certain amount of tax, okay, in this country for a number of things. So at the end of the day, if I'm paying all of these taxes, you don't expect me to leave my house, Godfred, and come and be cleaning common areas.
You are right.
Okay? When I'm paying for that to be done. No, I won't do it.
Yeah.
I hope you get my point. But of course, if the president says that, Charlie, there's been flooding, blah 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 has happened. It's a disaster.
That's a special.
That's a special location. We'll definitely come out and help with cleaning, but we should not make it. We should not make it an all the time kind of thing, where we say that every time blah blah come out and come. No, once a month or blah blah. Clean your frontage. That's also a different conversation. It's my responsibility. It's my house. So I will clean inside. I will come out and clean around the house, weed around it. If there's a gutter in front of my house, I'll clean in front of it and all of that. But I'm saying that common areas like market, I won't leave my house and come and clean the market. What is the role of the assembly? I will leave my house and come and clean the trotto station.
Even for this communal labor, I don't even view it as culture.
Thank you.
Because I think it's something, a measure that was brought up that as a developing country, we've not gotten to that level. If we get to a level that we are developed, probably it will be somebody's responsibility to do cleaning. Because I cannot be going to work and come back and be cleaning. You see, our taxes, like you said, are going somewhere. It should be somebody's responsibility. You understand?
Okay.
There can be a tax.
Valid point.
Yes.
Valid point.
Yes.
The same people. Let's even find out how many people are in this tax bracket. Not everybody is contributing. Because even yesterday we said it. It's a problem that we have as a country. So take your area for instance. You may be paying all the taxes. Kofi, who is next door, is not paying. So how will government, are we able to generate enough revenue? Revenue mobilization is a big issue. So it's part of the conversations we'll be having later today as far as the media budget review is concerned. Hopefully Jeffrey will join us. Revenue mobilization has been a very big problem of the country. We are unable to recoup or generate enough income.
Randy, we generate enough income. People steal the money. It's as simple as that.
That's a different argument.
The generation of the
Randy, we generate.
You see, it also depends on the working bracket.
Randy, you see, you can't go to the river with a basket and expect to come back home with water.
I am not saying maybe you're not listening. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that people are not stealing money.
And the revenue net is leaking. So it doesn't matter the amount of taxes you introduce. It doesn't matter the amount of people you put in the basket. Okay. What matters is that we must seal the leaking basket.
But nobody is disputing that.
When we seal that basket,
we all agree.
We will have enough money to fix the issues we are talking about.
We all agree that corruption has eaten too much into us.
That is, it has even eaten us.
The reports are already there. And I'm saying that, look, we can't sit back and allow it to go. It doesn't mean that, yes, corruption is eating us, so we can't pay taxes. Karim, countries have developed taxes.
I'm not saying we can't.
But you have traveled all over. So you know the countries that are well developed. Their development comes as a result of the revenue they generate.
You see, it's because the revenue they generate goes back into developing the places.
I agree. So
over here, the revenue we generate The revenue we generate goes into chief director's stomach.
Randy, we are paying tax on fuel.
Goes into DC's stomach.
We are paying tax on fuel.
No dispute.
We are paying tax on even the street lights.
Everything. Transport.
It's just recently that we even took away the toll booth,
COVID, and all of those things.
And I'm told that it will be it's coming back, right? So what other tax do you think we should?
No, I am not saying let's introduce new taxes. No, I am not saying that.
What I'm saying is that let's improve our collection.
Yes, let's ensure that everybody is covered under the tax bracket.
At the end of the day, Randy, you see, you're not getting the point. The point
maybe
is
you guys are not.
No, I get where you're coming from. That we must make sure everybody pays.
Yes.
But you
not
see,
to introduce new taxes.
No, I get what you're saying.
As for new taxes, who kick against
exactly
everybody is paying.
But what I'm saying is that you see, we can gather everybody in this country and get them to pay their taxes. But at the end of the day, if the taxes are stolen, it is still an exercise in futility. It's as simple as that. I told you here that a businessman in Sunyani or so built a 6-unit classroom block for around 250,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Cities also. Let's even say he even used 500,000 cities to build a 6-unit classroom block. Let one of our MMDCs come with a contract documents for a 6-unit classroom block. It will be running into millions of Ghana cedis.
The materials are different.
Which material? The materials that the businessman used to build, did they conjure them from Uranus and Saturn? And they conjure them from space or Jupiter?
Wele in Madina is 10 cities. You go to
conjure them from Jupiter.
It is 5
So you see, that's our problem. Is that our problem in this country?
The contractor is different.
The tax net is leaking. You understand? The basket.
The report has shown it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So over the years, what are we still doing to ensure that it doesn't leak? Randy, I have always said that you cannot sell Lafinta and go home smelling like toilet. You can also not sell honey and go to the market and not lick the honey before you come back home. I don't know if you're getting my point. No, that you see, it is
I get a point.
You see, culture, and that is who we are as a people.
Yeah.
That even when you do something for me, I feel like I owe you the favor of tipping you or giving you something. I hope you're getting my point. In America, when you go to a restaurant and eat, even though the person at the restaurant is going to be paid at the end of the day, there's still a tip. They expect that you tip them. That is their culture. Yeah, you don't say it is corruption. And when you're a constant tipper and they know you, when you come, your food comes early. Even here in Ghana, when you have a favorite watch spot and you always tip Amalia, anytime you go in the queue is long, Amalia will pass back there and serve you. I don't know if you're getting my point. Those are some of the reverse of some of these things. So in every space, there will definitely be that room for people to say that, I want to tip you, I want to give you something. So that whole conversation, even about corruption and all of that, is a conversation that we need to have. I remember in 2019 we went for a workshop and we're discussing anti-corruption on the African continent, and that question popped up, that how do we look at corruption within the African context? Because we are known to always want to tip people or give people things. Why do you even think that when they were setting up their code of conduct for government officials, they didn't say that they shouldn't even take gifts at all, but they pegged it at a certain cap? Because they know that that is who we are, and people would come and gift you. But I'm saying that it's not about widening the tax net, even though it's something we need to look at. The real challenge we have is that the basket, it is leaking. And you can't go, you are not Togbe Charlie or the other one, the Ashanti one was the Konfanochi, to go to the river with a leaking basket and come back home with water. We must fix the basket. We must make sure that the money doesn't seep out. And the only way we can do that is when we digitalize. Collection of tolls, collection of fees, collection of levies, collection of taxes. Digitalize the thing. No human being should be walking around our market and telling people to pay cash and be giving them written booklets. We've heard of issues where people will take those booklets, go print their own booklets, and be going around and taking levies from people in the market. No. Digitalize it. Make it electronic. When you go, this is store number, blah, 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 blah. Charlie, okay, wetuya aba pa. Nobody goes around doing all those shenanigans. So that is our problem.
Okay, Karim and Godfred, look at this. I'm just going through the list of the kind of taxes we pay in this country. Then you look at the deficit, where I am coming from. So you can talk about for instance, direct taxes. They pay as you earn, right? Personal income tax, corporate income tax, withholding tax, capital gains tax, gift tax, rent tax, vehicle income tax, mineral royalties, and a few others. Now, tell me how many people fall within this bracket. Now, let's look at even some of the indirect taxes that we have. You're talking about the value-added tax. You're talking about the National Health Insurance Levy, Ghana Education Trust Fund, Communication Service Tax, Excise Duty, Customs and Trades taxes. Now, the indirect taxes, that we can actually say that majority of the people pay. Because once you are using a mobile phone, of course, the communication tax is there for you. But you look at the direct tax, Karim, how many people fall under that bracket? And that's why I'm saying that there seems to be a deficit. There seems to be a gap.
That's why
we are unable to
that we those in the formal sector, we pay more.
Do you get it? We are unable to, and that the direct tax are even huge.
So the small that we are generating, why are you stealing it?
And so that's a different one. We are
apart from
it is you and your people. When we catch the people, when we arrest the people, then we go and sit at Yoko and shout.
Understand, Randy? Apart from the stealing, how many are also paying?
But that is the point I am building.
That's what I'm also saying.
Wallahi tallahi.
Yeah, the informal sector.
Wallahi tallahi. Wallahi. Look.
We must rescue the
country. When people see that their taxes are working,
they will pay.
I can bet you that people will work voluntarily and go and register with GRA and say that I'm now ready to pay my tax. Why do you think that every morning when we sit here, I encourage us to donate to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund? Because we are seeing Gafili Gadochi, the work that Ghana Medical Trust Fund is doing. If not for anything, we have already seen one cat lab at Kolebu commissioned and already in use. If not for anything, we've seen the stage of construction as far as the Konfanachi one and the Tamale Teaching Hospital one are concerned. I hope you're getting my point. The people that are undergoing the pilot treatment, we have seen. So if not for anything, you know where the money is going. If not for anything, today, we see the work that Get Fund is doing. Free senior high school education is funded from Get Fund. Have you heard of any secondary school complaint today that they are not getting food to eat? Or CHAS saying that they are going to close down schools because there's no food? Or today, have we heard that they are not, Get Fund is not undertaking projects? Look at the number of dining halls they are undertaking. There are a number of classroom blocks and dormitories and assembly halls Get Fund is undertaking across the country. So at least we are seeing where the money is going. All we are saying is that let us see where the taxes we are paying are going. When we're paying sanitation tax, we ended up seeing the money under somebody's bed. So please, let people see that the monies they are paying are being put to good use. And people will voluntarily, I'm telling you, go out there and go and pay taxes. Maybe another thing we need to look at, Randy, is that I think that we must also start being creative about the taxes and how we go about the collection of the taxes. Maybe you can create a certain flat rate for people and say if you are earning from this to this, we know that you are not earning a lot. So we can't put you on the same rate as everybody. Sometimes you see, it doesn't have to be quality, it must be equity. Each according to how much he earns. I hope you're getting it. So we must look at all of these things and be creative about it. But at the end of the day, we can do all of these things. If the basket is still leaking, we will not go anywhere. Just like your car when it has slow puncture. You will pump it and pump it and pump it until you patch that puncture. Your car would always stop in the middle of the road. Those are the issues that we have. Those are the challenges we are faced with. And so when somebody says that we must widen the time, blah, 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 stop the stealing. When we stop the stealing, we will fix the issues. It's as simple as that. So as for the sanitation issue there, let's leave it at that. There's another issue I want us to discuss. That's if you guys have nothing to add to this particular issue.
What we'll do is that we want to keep up interest towards the mid-year budget review, which will be read later in the day, 2 p.m. thereabout. But of course, we'll get to gauge the mood of people. Hopefully, get to speak to some economists this morning, so they tell us their expectations and what they have witnessed so far in the year as far as the main budget is even concerned. We'll do a comparison as well.
No problem.
Yeah. So what I want to add is that your point, expanding the tax net, his points, we should block the leakage, are not mutually exclusive. They work together because during the presentation of the 2026 budget, the finance minister said it. We need to expand the tax nets. Now he says the revenue target for this year is 268.1 billion Ghana cedis. That's the tax revenue. And he went ahead and said, let me quote him. He said that the strategy prioritizes, okay, so the finance minister said to achieve this fiscal consolidation, the government will rely on the continuous implementation of the medium-term revenue strategy, unquote. The strategy prioritizes the expansion of tax nets rather than placing an additional burden on existing compliant taxpayers. Crucially, the government has announced structural reforms and enforcement actions to close revenue leakages.
So what Karim said. So whilst we are widening the tax net,
it's an intersection.
We are closing. Exactly. So it's the same thing. Right. Now, I said we were going to discuss this into details towards the main media budget review. But if you look at the revenue target for the year, go back and look at the expenditure. Then you realize the deficit that we keep talking about all the time. How much are we even spending? Because it's a conversation we should have. How much are we spending as a people? How much are we making? Because that should match, right? If what we are generating is not enough, then we should watch how we are spending. And I think one key thing that the minister said over the years, and government in general mentioned, is that they would want to have what they call prudent management or prudent spending. Because that's, I mean, it's one of the things that we lacked in the last 4 or 8 years. We were spending recklessly. We borrowed to just chop. I remember the finance minister, what's his name? Honorable Atufo, he mentioned that they were chewing the money like Killy Willy and granules. And I mean, so prudent management or prudent spending comes to fore. So you can look at the expenditure, how much we have spent as compared to how much we have generated. And trust me, Godfrey, we are not making too much because most of the state-owned enterprises are not generating. Tell me how on earth will GIHOC run at a loss? How? How? A company that is mainly for distilling. Yes. How are you selling akpeteshi and you are running at a loss? Akpeteshi that people are going to eat, watch it, they drink. Kenke, they drink. I mean, you know, you are happy, you are drinking. You are sad, you are drinking. Almost every occasion, you are drinking. So how are we even running at a loss? So we are not generating enough. Tell me how. ECG will be in debt. This is an essential commodity that they are selling. ECG. Hey, if for nothing at all, ECG should be one of the best revenue rakers for the country.
But we are stealing.
That is the point I am building.
And the stealing
aside
is not even the staff of
aside
ECG.
the stealing.
We, all of us, we are stealing.
Aside the stealing. Yes, that's the point I am building. Aside the people stealing from the institution itself, they are unable to go after the people who are tapping illegally.
Because your politicians always come and defend them for vote. Your politicians.
Who's politicians?
Your MPs. Your MP and your chiefs. Always defend the people. I'm telling you. That's why I said that all of us are part of the problem.
Let me
saying that all of us. That's why I'm saying that all of us are part of the problem.
You are your politician. You are part of the problem.
I'm saying that
your likes are the ones when we arrest the people.
You are part of the problem.
You are part of you. You are you.
Me, mom, when they arrest you, you go. Me, if you go and misbehave and they catch you, you have my hope. Forget about it.
Randy.
You see the way Yaudabo did not select his own nephew as justified. The same thing I'll do. Master, who could even pass the assembly for us? That is the problem. Can you imagine yesterday? I was so disappointed. Yesterday I saw a post on Facebook from someone that we revere so much. That in Tamale yesterday at dawn, I think the ECG VRA carried an operation, and they went with military men to carry that operation because there are people stealing power, so they had to go and do disconnections, and they came with military. And someone comes out and puts a post on social media saying he's disappointed in the in VRA for using the military to do that. But the question you must ask yourself is that what is the history of that issue? Because whenever the VRA people go, they beat them. Yes. Whenever they go to carry out the operation with their tax force, they beat them. So if you've been beating me every time, and now I've come with military to come and do disconnections, I hope you are getting my point. Randy, today, there's a community here in this country.
You can go.
ECG cannot go there to go and do disconnection. How do you even go to do the disconnection? Because that community, by the time you walk from one road and pass one lungu, and you are not careful, you enter somebody's bedroom. If you make mistake and enter where you are not supposed to enter,
they'll call boys for you.
And they call boys for you and you don't come out again. How would you answer? How are you getting my point?
I get it.
So that is the problem we have in this country. That even we, the ordinary citizens, we are stealing from the institutions that are supposed to serve us. People are not paying their water bills. When Ghana Water come, then they open dog. People are not paying their electricity bills. When VRA or ECG workers come, then they open dogs on them. Some of them will not even open their gates for them to enter. If you are not lucky, they catch you and beat you on top. So how will we succeed? How will we generate the necessary revenue? Right? And at the end of the day, the small that we are able to generate, instead of us to use it to serve the people and do the work of the people, then some people to sit in offices and use pen and paper to steal the money. Then you say that people are not paid. So that is the problem we have. You see, the small that we have, we must learn to use it judiciously. And that's why we must commend our finance minister. Look at the amount of money that we have saved in this country. Cut down the number of ministers to 60. And even as we speak, they are not even up to 60. Combine regional ministers and everybody together, we still haven't even reached the 60 mark. I hope you're getting the point. Cut down on a lot of spending, fuel, no fuel, all of those things that used to be happening in the past. We've stopped all of those things. A lot of the necessary travels have been cut down. That's fiscal discipline. So like Godfred said, you spend according to what you earn. If your salary is 5,000 cedis, then you go and rent a room for 10,000 cedis. Is it not stealing you are going to steal to cover the remaining 5,000? And that is why you always have a budget that has huge deficits, because then now you now have to go and borrow money to do that. The government is almost 2 years into office, and it's just recently that they took a loan agreement to Parliament. So that tells you that there's some fiscal discipline in the system, and that must apply in every facet of this economy of this country that we run. So Randy, you see, everybody must stop stealing. That is the long and short of it. When we all stop stealing, the country will progress. But as we continue to steal, the country will continue to retrogress. It's as simple as that. And we must be honest. It's not the usual NDC, MPP kind of politics. We must speak the truth. We want the development of this country. And that is what politics must achieve. The two parties, all of them claim they want to develop the country, and that is what we must achieve. So, Charlie,
so you asked a question about expenditure compared to the revenue. And so this fiscal year, the expenditure is 302.5 billion cedis. So if you look at that, and then the revenue, that means there will be a shortfall of about 34.4 billion. But then it's normal of
in economics, it is okay, but you see, to a layman out there, that's a loss. If I am counting it, I'm counting it as, because if I am earning this amount of money, my spending should be measured. Like we always say, cut your coat according to yourself.
But if you go with the budget, they call it the commitment basis. And so that is what government is committed to you can even
spend less. And I think that issue popped up midway through the year.
That's 2025 when they went for the review. I mean, they cut a lot of expenditure. That's gained a lot of money.
But you know what is happening, and we'll take a break shortly. But you know what is happening? There are complaints about inadequate resources, and I heard this report. I am yet to confirm officially that there are some people that are not being paid yet. So, for instance, the NADMO coordinators, they mentioned that for almost a year or two or so, they've not even received their whatever allowances and whatever. But like I said, I'm yet to confirm the authenticity. Yes.
Charlie, cut this part for me.
Let's take a break.
Cut it for me.
Let's take a break.
I'm putting it on TikTok. We'll take a breather when we come back. There's more after this.
And there they are. The squad is ready, lined up, ice cold, focused and prepared for national duty. Every bottle in position, every label shining with confidence. And here comes the selection. One bottle steps forward, picked from the squad, ready to deliver for Ghana. He takes the first sip. Oh yes, refreshingly hydrating. The whistle goes. The Black Stars are on the move. He breaks through the defense like flowing water. Beautiful control. He lines it up. He strikes. Goal! Ghana is awake. From the fridge to the field, Awake keeps you refreshed. Awake purified drinking water. One for life. Proudly supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA approved.
All right, so welcome back. Many thanks for still staying with us right here on WoezorTV. Christian Asige, I see your message. Yes, I know English is not our language. I think I need to take my time in pronouncing that word. Karen, what is it? What's the pronunciation? Authenticity. Yeah, authenticity. Yes. Yeah. You know, I was in a haste. I was talking like Sarkodie.
We'll take you to TikTok.
Yeah. I'll see whoever will put that thing out, right?
Charlie, cut it for me. We'll take you to TikTok. Charlie, I will celebrate some birthdays.
Yeah, let's celebrate some wonderful people this morning. Awesome. We'll carry the viewers along anyway. We'll activate the phone lines pretty shortly. But let's celebrate some birthdays this morning. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. 23rd day of July 2026. The first on our list is Alexis Ablan. Davy Ablan, happy birthday to you, Alexis, wherever you are. Enjoy your day to the fullest. We wish you God's blessings, good health. Anyway, happy birthday. Who else do we have for the Auntie Nana? Happy birthday to you, Auntie Nana. That's coming from your family. Happy birthday going out to you wherever you are. Enjoy to the fullest. Who else is on our list this morning? Lydia Ayabi Kwenu. Today's your birthday, Lydia. Happy birthday going out to you. Charlie, you shadow, no be joke. Happy birthday. More wisdom, good health, more wealth. We pray for. Happy birthday, Lydia. So who else is on our list this morning? Okay, Mary Sokwe. Today is your birthday, Mary. Happy birthday to you, and that's coming from your cousin from right, Selom. He says he loves you and good health. Happy birthday to you, Mary. Enjoy your day to the fullest. All right, let's move on. So this is a notable birthday. Our very own. Woman King, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honorable Dr. Hannah Louisa Bisiu Kote. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you. She's the administrator of the Minerals Development Fund. Yeah, solid woman. I remember when she took over, a few times she was on the grounds chasing after the illegal miners. We had an interview with her some time back as well. Happy birthday to you, ma. Enjoy. If you are throwing the party, make we pass by. There we. Happy birthday to you, Honorable Anna Louisa BCU Kote. Enjoy to the fullest as well. And Tosin Cole, today is your birthday. He is a British actor. Happy birthday to you. If today is your birthday, then I mind you share your birthday with Tosin as well. Anyway, okay, and I think that is it with the birthday celebrants this morning. Karim, I don't know if we would have to listen to our viewers with regards to the budget. No, I think so. I believe that we must let's take their opinions on the budget, what their expectations would be for the reading of the budget statement and all of the relevant issues. But I also think that notwithstanding, we can take a breather. Let's come to them with all of our updates, and then we'll open the phone lines for you to join in the conversation about the budget. We'll also line up some experts to talk to us on what they are hoping to hear as far as the budget is concerned. And so we'll take a breather, stay with us on the show. We'll come back with the news, sports and entertainment updates, and then after that we'll engage you on what your expectations for the budget review would be. We'll be right back.
From the heart of our forests, where the beautiful gigantic baobab trees reside, to the city where culture meets tradition, the pulse of Accra, where the energy of the people fuels the nation's spirit, to the cascading beauty of the waterfalls, where the earth breathes life. Perla natural mineral water. Purity comes from nature.
Hey baby, I missed you so much. What are you doing right now?
Emeka, I'm in the car now with my family. We are going for lunch. I'll see you in the office on Monday. Yes.
Sometimes you don't have a way out.
This Emeka is a very funny guy.
With SportyBet, you do. Because with our maximum cash out availability, there's always a way out. SportyBet, winning is now that easy.
Star Oil has been in Ghana since 1998. The reason we are able to provide fuels at affordable prices is because we use our own trucks as much as possible, and so we are able to use our haulage income to subsidize the fuel at the pump. We also run these stations with our own staff. Other competitors use investment partners and retailers who they pay significant margins to run their forecourts for them. We also have deployed IT infrastructure across the country to allow us to be able to manage these stations efficiently. All our vehicles have trackers and we monitor them real time. So more and more our loyal customers have come to know Star Oil not just for low prices but also for quality products.
Star Oil, quality and affordable fuels for all.
Sentuntum say wunna ma dejume ma wonsa.
Efrema bema ganioba
Maunsa Sentuntum amwabwasumuda Maunsa
Dasha no slap. Heaven black mosquito where common tontum.
Heaven insecticide spray. Eye sham. Nesasu kumwa wotu any omo wiya nyina.
Heaven dear. Pako pek.
FDA aji edrede krato yatum.
Hello and welcome to the WoezorTV report. Before we settle for the details, let's look at the headlines. Let's settle for the details. Africa's rising burden of infectious and non-communicable diseases has renewed calls for increased investment in healthcare, with leaders urged to translate policy commitments into concrete action. Speaking at the African Union Extraordinary Summit on Health, which concluded on Wednesday, July 22, President John Dramani Mahama said more than 90 million Africans are living with chronic hepatitis B and C, many of whom remain undiagnosed and untreated. He highlighted the persistent burden of malaria and warned that non-communicable diseases, including heart disease, cancer and diabetes, claim the lives of more than 2 million Africans before the age of 70 each year. The president stressed that stronger investment in health systems, disease prevention, and early diagnosis is essential to improving health outcomes and building a healthier, more resilient Africa. Belinda Anand-Kwanzaa has more in this report.
Dramani Mahama has called on African leaders to take bold and decisive action to transform healthcare across the continent, warning that Africa can no longer rely on outdated approaches to addressing its health challenges. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the African Union Extraordinary Summit on Health, President Mahama said the continent faces a growing burden of communicable and non-communicable diseases, including hepatitis, malaria and cervical cancer, which continue to claim millions of lives each year. He stressed that Africa must chart its own course towards health sovereignty by strengthening resilient health systems and moving beyond dependence on external interventions.
It means that the days when colonial tropical medicine could cast a continent as uniquely benighted and in need of missionary kind of episodic interventions are over. Africa now stands at a crossroads defined by its appetite for total health transformation. It can no longer allow itself to be perched on the periphery and cast as the destitute beneficiary of the largesse of some distant global health systems. If we allow these stereotypes to persist, a new wave of health conditions will dominate mortality in Africa by the middle of the century, taxing our demographic dividend before it is ever paid.
President Mahama also challenged fellow heads of states to match their commitment to sustain investment in healthcare, saying declarations alone would not improve the lives of Africans. He urged government to prioritize health financing and strengthen accountability to ensure measurable progress across the continent.
As your host and your brother, I make one request of all of us. Let us not adopt another eloquent text. Let us seal our pacts with our words of honor. The declaration establishes a continental monitoring, reporting, and accountability framework, which we hope to align with Accra Research Framework. We commit to an annual scorecard to be regularly brought to this very assembly for peer review amongst us. And I ask that we embrace that scorecard as the mark of a union that has grown confident enough to grade itself. We are no longer under colonial adult supervision.
The Extraordinary Summit is expected to adopt the Accra Declaration, outlining Africa's collective commitment to advancing justice, equity, and universal health coverage, ending AIDS and tuberculosis by 2030, improving maternal and child health, tackling communicable and non-communicable diseases, and strengthening resilient health systems across the continent. Reporting for WoezorTV, Belinda Anand Kwanzaa.
Meanwhile, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, has described the recent xenophobic attacks against African migrants in South Africa as a major concern for the continental body. Speaking during a bilateral meeting with President John Dramani Mahama at the Jubilee House, Mr. Yusuf said the African Union is closely monitoring the situation and has engaged South African authorities on the matter. He noted that while South African leaders have condemned the attacks, reports and images showing security personnel standing by without intervening have raised serious concerns.
The issue of xenophobic attacks on Africans, not only Ghanaians, African citizens from many countries in South Africa, is something that is really a big source of concern for the Commission. I was in South Africa a month ago. I met President Ramaphosa, and I met Minister Lamola. The statement, the official statement, is that we condemn that. We do not support that. And they made it even with me in a press conference with the foreign minister. He said if there are illegal migrants in South Africa, they have to be handled through the proper channels of the law of the country. This is the statements. But at the same time, we see that these people who are harassing our African fellow citizens are free to do whatever they want. That's terrible. That's something that sometimes makes us very sad. And sometimes you see people in uniforms just watching what's happening just next to them, and they see and yesterday I was watching the news. A Mozambican lady was destroying her own shop, so that she do not, leave it to these people who are coming to, take it over. She was destroying herself, her shop. She has been working there for 20 years. So the human cost of this situation is terrible.
In a related development, President Mahama has disclosed that South African President Cyril Ramaphosa had dispatched a delegation to Ghana on Tuesday to brief Ghanaian authorities on the incident. The president said Ghana harbors no ill feelings towards South Africa, but stressed that the matter should not be ignored.
I think that, as the continental body, AU should take an interest in this issue, because it has the potential to wreck everything that we have worked for: African solidarity, African integration, and all that. And so we sent a notice that we wanted to put it on the agenda for the AU meeting that was supposed to take place in Egypt. Unfortunately, that meeting was postponed. Yeah, but we're hoping that at the next opportunity we will be able to put it on the agenda. President Ramaphosa sent a delegation to me yesterday. We met with them, and I explained the reason why it was important for us to discuss it. Sometimes these things happen, we want to sweep them under the carpet, but when we do that, we rather do not cure what the problem is. And so I told them, I said, Ghana, we don't harbor any malice against South Africa, but we're raising it as an issue for discussion to even give South Africa the opportunity to take that platform of the continental body and explain what they're doing to the world about the xenophobic attack. So I would want to advert your mind to it. We didn't get a reply or acknowledgement of our petition, so I just want to remind you that if at least we can get an acknowledgement, and if you would be kind enough to have it tabled, then we can have a discussion about it. It doesn't appear that the South African authorities are responding to the magnitude that one would expect them to do. The persons who are funding these xenophobic attacks are known, and they've been left free to continue to do what they want to do, and so it's become something they are doing with impunity.
The 14th commemorative lecture in honor of former President John Evans Atta Mills has been held in Accra, with speakers reflecting on his leadership, integrity, and legacy. Delivering remarks at the event on Wednesday, July 22, former Minister for Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, described the late Professor Mills as an ethical and compassionate leader. He said his assessment was based on personal encounters with the former president years before he assumed office.
What I am, and I'm not saying, Professor Mills was ethical. He was compassionate. By every measure I was able to take of the man across 3 meetings, he was good. This is the man I will now ask you to meet. Not through the office he held, but through the 3 meetings in which he showed me who he was before the world knew him as Asumdwehene. Those who knew Professor Mills, even briefly, encountered the same man twice, the private figure and the public one. And they were not 2 different people wearing different masks. They were the same person at different volumes. His warmth and compassion towards people and severity towards wrongdoing were in him the same virtue pointed in 2 directions. Professor Mills carried himself exactly as Exodus 18:21 instructs. A man feared God and hated dishonest gain. He also launched a program to re-equip science resource centers in all the districts in Ghana to strengthen the teaching and learning of science in the country. These were not cosmetic achievements. They were the early years of purposeful, integrity-led governance.
The use of photocopies of visual inspection of Ghana cards for identity verification is set to end under new regulations introduced by the government. Interior Minister Honorable Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak says the National Identification Register Regulations 2026 LI 2523 require institutions to verify identities using biometric authentication or approved match-on card devices. He said the measure is intended to strengthen data protection and curb identity fraud. The minister warned that organizations that continue to photocopy or retain copies of Ghana cards for verification risk sanctions, including fines, suspension, or loss of access to the National Identification Authority's verification platform.
Establish dedicated team responsible for monitoring compliance and enforcement across organizations and institutions. These teams will conduct compliance checks, investigate breaches reported to NIA, and work with relevant law enforcement agencies to ensure that the requirements of the LI 2523 are consistently applied and upheld nationwide. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be candid with you about why these penalties exist. They are not just designed to punish ordinary Ghanaians going about their daily transactions. They exist to hold accountable those organizations and individuals who continue to expose citizens' data to unnecessary risks after being given the tool and the time to do better. The government and the National Identification Authority recognizes that this is a significant change for many businesses and institutions. We are not approaching this as a trap. The NIA has published its website, that is www.nia.gov.gh. The specifications for portable card readers and biometric devices, and will roll out sensitization and technical support to help organizations integrate onto the identity verification system platform for access to the National Identity Register. We are using this opportunity to ask every organization that verifies identity as part of its work, such as the banks, telecommunications companies, insurers, hospitals, schools, government agencies, and others to begin or complete the process to be onboarded onto the National Identification Authority Identity Verification System platform without delay.
To ensure compliance, the National Identification Authority will establish a dedicated monitoring and enforcement team while providing technical support to institutions transitioning to the new verification system. The 3-month transition period runs from July 27 to November 2026, allowing institutions time to acquire the necessary equipment, train staff, and connect to the National Identity Verification System.
It took effect on the 9th of June 2026. Government recognizes that institutions will need time to put in place the system, infrastructure, and staff training necessary to comply fully. Organizations are accordingly granted a transition period of 3 months from 27th of July to 2nd of November 2026, within which to establish the necessary protocols to implement LI 2523. This transition period is granted strictly to allow for orderly implementation and does not suspend or waive any obligation under the regulation. Institutions are expected to begin compliance measures immediately and to be fully compliant by the end of this period. Let me say, this is to every Ghanaian. You have a right to expect that your Ghana card will not be casually photocopied, scanned, or filed away by anyone you transact with. If any organization asks to copy your Ghana card instead of verifying it biometrically, you are entitled to decline. This law exists to protect you, not to burden you. LI 2523 is a deliberate, measured step to strengthen the integrity of our national identification system and to safeguard the personal data of every citizen and resident. We will implement it firmly but fairly, and we will work with all stakeholders to get it right.
Minister of State in charge of Climate Change and Sustainability, Seydou Isifu, has called on the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council to support the establishment and operationalization of the Climate Change and Sustainability units throughout the country. describing the initiative as a critical step towards strengthening climate governance and accelerating sustainable development. The minister also encouraged metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to take advantage of emerging climate finance opportunities to supplement government funding for climate action. He noted that increased access to climate finance would help communities adapt to climate impact while improving livelihoods, particularly for women in rural areas.
Climate change is a behavioral phenomenon, and the need to engage the assemblies, the local authorities, is of paramount importance to my office. Now we're looking at how to encourage the assemblies to establish a climate and sustainability unit in all the DC assemblies. And what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to engage in advocacy. They're also supposed to engage in reporting on climate-related activities. They are supposed to drive behavior and influence behavior at the local authorities. And we know that the most vulnerable has to do with our rural communities, if you talk about the shocks of climate change. And we all know that anytime we have these shocks, livelihood is affected, homes are displaced, education is affected, the whole value chain of our livelihood is affected. Now, most of the times we find some of our women and children migrating from one place to another because of the hazards of climate change. So we feel that as the local authorities, we should make this effort to have this engagement where we share capacity, we share our understanding of the effects of climate change, and also for us to put them in readiness for the creation of the climate and sustainability units in other assemblies.
The Bank of Ghana has maintained its monetary policy rate at 14% for the third consecutive time, citing rising geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and their potential impact on inflation and the domestic economy. The decision was announced at the end of the 131st Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Accra. There is more in this report.
Has maintained its benchmark monetary policy rate at 14%, saying the current policy stance is necessary to keep inflation on track while supporting economic growth. The decision follows the 131st Monetary Policy Committee meeting, where members unanimously voted to keep the benchmark rate unchanged. The MPC said Ghana's economy remains resilient, with GDP expanding by 6.4% in the first quarter of the year. It also cited improved business and consumer confidence, declining lending rates, and a 41.2% increase in private sector credits.
Given these considerations, the committee, the MPC, by a unanimous decision, maintained the monetary policy rate at 14.0%. The committee judged that the current policy stance remains appropriate to guide inflation into the medium-term target band while allowing time to assess the evolving geopolitical developments and their potential impact on the domestic economy.
The MPC, however, warned that renewed conflicts in the Middle East, rising crude oil prices, and possible utility tariff adjustments could push inflation higher in the coming months, despite inflation remaining below the bank's target band.
The July forecast remains broadly unchanged from the previous MPC round, with headline inflation projected to rise gradually into the target band. Potential upward adjustments in utility tariffs, together with escalating geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and the associated increase in crude oil prices. These present upside risks to the inflation outlook. On the downside, continued fiscal consolidation and an appropriately calibrated monetary policy stance. These should help moderate these risks going forward.
The Bank of Ghana says it will continue to closely monitor global development and adjust monetary policy when necessary to maintain price stability and support sustainable economic growth. The next MPC meeting is scheduled for September 22 to 24, 2026. Reporting from the Bank Square for WoezorTV, Belinda Anand Kwanza.
Government is stepping up efforts to tackle Ghana's fish supply deficit by expanding aquaculture and introducing marine fish farming as part of reforms aimed at boosting local production and reducing reliance on imports. The Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Emilia Arthur, says Ghana currently produces only 700,000 metric tons of fish each year against an annual demand of 1.2 million metric tons. She says government has already issued the country's first provisional license for mariculture, fish farming in the sea as part of measures to increase production and strengthen food security. There is more in the following report.
In agriculture, Emilia Arthur says government is prioritizing increased fish production to address Ghana's annual fish deficit of about 500,000 metric tons. According to the minister, Ghana currently produces about 700 metric tons of fish each year, against an estimated annual demand of 1.2 million metric tons. She said government is therefore expanding agriculture and introducing mariculture or sea-based fishing farming to boost domestic fish production. Speaking at a media engagement to outline the ministry's achievements over the past 18 months and its priorities for the period ahead, Honorable Emilia Arthur expressed confidence that the reforms would increase local fish production, improve livelihoods along the fisheries value chain, and strengthen the sector's contribution to food security and the national economy.
We need to improve fish production, and we improve fish production by putting in place management measures, by going big on aquaculture now. But because Ghanaians also love marine fish, we are also introducing aquaculture on the sea. That is called mariculture. We have given the first provisional license for that to take place.
The minister also raised concern over the destruction of Ghana's marine ecosystem around Cape 3 Point due to illegal mining activities. She said pollution from rivers and streams flowing into the sea is damaging fish breeding grounds and threatening marine biodiversity.
And so one management measure we have put in place for conservation, which is the third reform we introduced, is the marine protected area at Cape 3 Points, Ghana's first marine protected area at Cape 3 Points. That project is too important, but it stands to be undermined by galamsey going on currently in the forest reserve, and the water streaming from the reserve, the contaminated water streaming from the reserve into the ocean. So that is a big thing for us. Another area that we are focusing on, we'll be focusing on more, is fisheries infrastructure. Because you cannot have a poor landing site or no landing site and expect decent work by women who handle post-harvest. So we are going to be looking at building some more fishing infrastructure. There are some that have been abandoned. We are looking into entering into private sector agreements to revamp the abandoned ones, like Elmina and a number of the coastals.
The minister reiterated her confidence that the ministry's interventions would significantly increase local fish production, improve livelihoods across the fisheries value chain, strengthen national food and nutrition security. For WoezorTV, Godfred Amwafo reporting.
And now to some international news. A huge quantity of cocaine has been seized during a raid on a suspected illegal storage facility near Liberia's capital, Monrovia, in what authorities say is the biggest drug bust in the country's history. Videos and photos released by police showed dozens of sealed suitcases and boxes inside a lorry that investigators believed contained high-grade cocaine. Police Chief Gregory Coleman told the media that forensic tests had confirmed the substance was cocaine, with an estimated street value of more than $370 million. And that's by way of WoezorTV reports. My name is Randy Ahaji.
Embarrassed. Too embarrassed to speak to a loved one. Too embarrassed to speak to your doctor.
Too embarrassed. When in our lifetime, 1 in 4 black men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. 1 in 12 black men will die from prostate cancer.
Let me repeat that. 1 in 4 black men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. 1 in 12 black men will die from prostate cancer disease.
1 in 12. That could be your dad, even your older brother, uncle, or grandfather.
You need to make sure they are not embarrassed to speak to you or their doctor about it.
Hey, Dad, have you had your prostate checked out? See? How hard is that? It's easy. Just start the conversation.
Prostate cancer is survivable if caught and treated early enough.
Don't let embarrassment stop you having this important conversation.
You may save someone's life.
Not just your own.
Right, back for sports update on the Breakfast Cafe. My name is Godfred Amwafo. Let's start from the upcoming Women's African Cup of Nations, because CAF President Patrice Motsepe has announced a record $2 million prize money for winners of the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations, which is the WAFCON. The amount represents a $1 million increase from the previous edition and is part of CAF's effort to boost investment in women's football and on the continent. The 2026 tournament will feature an expanded 16 teams format and will also serve as a qualifier for the 2027 Women's World Cup. Ghana's Black Queens will compete in Group D alongside Cape Verde, Cameroon, and Mali. In that regard, now still on the CAF president and the subsequent Cup of Nations when it comes to the men's side, because Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have submitted a joint bid to host the 2032 African Cup of Nations. The three countries, led by military governments, say the proposal is aimed at promoting regional integration and sustainable development in African football. CAF President Patrice Motsepe says the bid will be considered like others, adding that 3 nations have an equal chance of hosting the tournament. So if that happens, then 2032, you are going to see Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger coming together to host the African Cup of Nations. How would that be? It wouldn't be an easy thing at all. We'll be going to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger if they accept their bidding for the 2032. Now, away from that, let's move straight to the United States, because there's something happening in the Major League. Now, the Major League Soccer says that it is investigating an allegation of tampering by Inter Milan after the club signed Brazil midfielder Casemiro for Manchester United. You know that the player has moved on from Man U. Now, on Wednesday, Miami announced they have signed the 34-year-old who left Manchester United at the end of the season on a deal that runs to the end of the 2027 MLS campaign, with an option to extend until June 2029. But moments later, the MLS released a statement saying it was reviewing a tampering allegation against the club. Now, the statement reads, the league is gathering all relevant information and will refrain from further comment until the review is complete. It's added. Now, while Inter Miami FC and LA Galaxy have reached a settlement for the discovery priority, which is first right to sign Casemiro, the terms will be released upon conclusion of the tampering investigation. The investigation concerns Casemiro's discovery rights on MLS regulation that gives a specific club first refusal over a player should they want to join. Now, a club may have up to 5 players on their discovery list at any time and can add or remove players. Los Angeles Galaxy held the discovery right for Casemiro, but in announcing the player's signing, Inter Miami said they had acquired the rights from the Galaxy. And so it's like another team tried to step into a deal. And so Galaxy says that they have the rights for Casemiro, but out of nowhere, Inter Miami stepped in. And that is what the MLS is now investigating. It's against the rules. Let's see how this will go. But then if it goes in favor of Inter Miami, that means they are going to have the service of Casemiro. You know, the squad they already have Lionel Messi, Rodrigo de Paul, and now Casemiro also joining. There are a lot of players in there. They want to continue to dominate in the MLS. Now, something happened yesterday in England. It has to do with Wolves. They were training, but their striker, who is a Nigerian, Tulo Arokodare, he is a striker for the team. He sat in the middle of the training field that he won't train, and he will not allow the team to train. Why? Because he wants to leave the team to Fiorentina. But Wolves have also rejected a bid from the Serie A side, having accepted an offer from Turkish club Trabzonspor. And so the club have different options for the player. They want him to move to Turkey, but the player says, no, I want to go to Italy. And so yesterday, according to a report by BBC Sports, the player did not allow Wolves to train. He sat in the middle of the pitch saying that if I don't go to Italy, then you can't train. And so that is what happened yesterday. Very dramatic. This is a Nigerian striker. He is eyeing a move to the Italian Serie A, but his team says that no, you have to go to Turkey. He says that if you won't let me go to Italy, then there will be no preseason for you. And so that is what happened yesterday. There are a lot of things unfolding in the transfer market. We'll bring you all updates when it's necessary. My name is Godfred Amwafo, and this is where we end sports on the Breakfast Cafe. But do stay tuned because entertainment is up next.
Okay, next one. Sit down. Look to camera.
This is what it looks like to be exceptional, to stand out from the crowd, to make history. But what if women didn't have to be exceptional? What if they didn't have to be the first, the best, or the only woman? What if being a female engineer wasn't remarkable? What if women and men could compete as equals? I don't want to make history. I don't want to be the only woman. I want to be one of many.
Only a father can understand. Only a husband can understand. Only a man can understand. Prostate cancer. It's about more than fear of cancer. It's about fear of losing urinary control and sexual function. That's why more men turn to Jackson South for robotic surgery than anywhere else in South Florida. Get the facts at jacksonprostatefacts.org. Miracles made daily.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the entertainment update here on the WoezorTV Breakfast Cafe. I am Evergreen Asanto, and now let's look at today's headlines. And Bam Bam urges audience to support YouTube films. Black Star International Film Festival unveils star-studded jewelry. Now to the details of these stories. Nigerian actress Bam Bam is calling on audiences to stop looking down on films released on YouTube. Speaking on the big convo, the actress said YouTube productions require the same level of professionalism as cinema releases, despite being produced on a tighter budget and much shorter schedule. She also encouraged viewers to support filmmakers by watching their content and allowing adverts to play, explaining that the revenue helps producers recover production cost. Bam Bam revealed that YouTube plays a major role in her rise to stardom, insisting that every project deserves equal respect regardless of where it is released. And I absolutely agree with her on that one, because lately you and I know that Nigerian filmmakers are leveraging on YouTube to make some good money, and of course to also educate people and entertain them at the same time. So it's a hand go hand come kind of, process here we are talking about. So when the ads are playing, that's how someone is making their money, and that is how you're also discovering new ideas, new products, new services. And life just keeps going on, and probably, if I should say, it keeps getting better, right? So respect YouTube releases just as you respect cinema releases as well, because they go hand in hand. They also play the same important role. It's just that, when it comes to YouTube production, there are certain things that they might want to do, and when it comes to movies that they know that they are going to release in cinema too, there are ways and means in which they shoot it and then what have you. So please, the respect has to be there, and I know that people also love these movies on YouTube too as well. So that is coming from her, and she's currently in the country because No Man of God is happening again. I gave you that information a few months ago when it was premiered at the UPSC auditorium, and it is happening again. So find more info on that. If your schedule is less busy this weekend, go and enjoy yourself with some friends and family. Now let's talk about the Black Star International Film Festival. And the Black Star International Film Festival has unveiled a distinguished panel of Ghanaian creatives, professionals to judge this year's festival. The jury is chaired by acclaimed filmmaker Ivan Kwashiga and features respected industry figures including William Kojo, Agbeti, Annie Araba, Sedofia, and also Nana Kofi. We also have Victoria Delali Dogbe and several other filmmakers, producers, and media professionals. Organizers say the panel brings decades of experiences across the directing, production, cinematography, and communications to recognize outstanding African storytelling. The announcement reinforces the festival's commitment to celebrating excellence and promoting Africa's growing film industry on the global stage. And I told you that the date was out. We are finally going to experience and also enjoy that film festival once again, and it is only good that we get to see who is going to judge this year's international film festival here in Ghana. Looking at all these renowned filmmakers, producers, directors, it can only tell you, and it should tell you, that this year's international film festival is going to be different from the previous ones, and we have some good figures on there who are going to bring on their expertise. So wherever you find yourself, maybe you might want to participate in some of the master classes, the workshops, and then the what have you that is going to happen this year. Hone your skills, learn something new. Even if you're not into filmmaking, maybe this is an opportunity to also embrace something new and even experience something different. So that is the news I have for you this morning, and that will be the end of today's entertainment update here on the WoezorTV Breakfast Cafe. I am Evergreen Asantua. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
Gentlemen, I've got some bad news and some good news. Okay, the bad news is that your chances of getting prostate cancer are now just 7 to 1. In fact, prostate cancer is killing one man every single hour of the day in this country. Imagine that, one every hour of the day. But the good news is, we're forming a team to stop that clock. Men United. It's time men united together to fight prostate cancer, the way women have united against breast cancer. We need to get together and find a cure, as well as better ways to care for the 250,000 prostate cancer sufferers out there. Please, get on side and join us in the fight. Men United versus prostate cancer. We can win this.
Good morning. You are welcome to a well-being segment on WoezorTV. My name is Dr. Edo Tesezano, your pharmacist. On today's episode, we'll be talking about dangers of self-medication. Self-medication is when one takes in medicine without proper advice from a healthcare professional, your doctor or your pharmacist. This is when someone goes in to buy medication for his or herself without proper approval of your pharmacist or your doctor, or taking medication previously diagnosed for a different condition. Self-medication, although very convenient, can be very dangerous. First of all, you may treat the wrong condition. A person experiencing stomach pain may think it's an ulcer and start treating peptic ulcer disease, when in reality, this stomach pain may be due to gastritis or appendicitis. Secondly, overdosage can be very harmful. A person may increase the dose of a medication in an attempt to speed up the process of recovery. A typical example, taking in overdose paracetamol can lead to liver problems. Also, self-medication may cause drug interactions. Certain medication, when taken together, can be very harmful. A typical example, ibuprofen, a popular painkiller, when taken with other medication without proper guidance, can cause GI irritations. Antibiotics, when taken improperly, can cause antibiotic resistance. This makes infections very difficult to treat in the future. Lastly, self-medication can mark severe illness. Certain medicines can temporarily reduce symptoms like headache, pain, as well as fever, whilst hiding the warning sign of a more severe condition. This over a long period of time can increase the condition and make it difficult to treat. So what do we do? First of all, consult your healthcare professional, your doctor or pharmacist, before taking any medication. Also, go strictly according to the instructions given to you by your pharmacist. Lastly, avoid using other people's prescription or leftovers. What worked for someone may not work for you. And also, don't forget to always be in constant communication with your pharmacist. Thank you.
All right, thank you for still staying with us here on the WoezorTV Breakfast Cafe. My name is Eura Adams Kareem. Beautiful song there from the lady Efia. Baby, can we run away? Charlie, times have passed, you know. Nice songs in the past. Right now, we don't know what we listen to. But away from that, just as we promised earlier, I want to bring you a brief conversation on the media budget review. Later we'll bring you a fuller conversation, and as well bring you the live broadcast of that one from the precinct of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, where the Finance Minister Kasiela Forson would deliver the media budget review statement to the Republic of Ghana. But we have joining us via the phone lines right now Dr. Peter Tekpe to discuss what, of course, expectations of people would be as far as the media budget review is concerned. And then subsequently, we have some time. We will invite you, our viewers, to join in the conversation as well. Doc, good morning, and thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, and thanks for having me, and good morning to your cherished listeners and viewers.
Great, awesome. Let's pick the conversation first from the budget statement in general, when it was first delivered sometime last year. Now, we had a conversation with you, I remember, you know, about we discussed it in detail. But let's touch a bit about what the 2026 budget sought to have done for Ghana and the people of Ghana before we even get into what your expectations would be for the media review.
The 2026 budget, I will say it's the budget that actually begins the full administration of the President Mahama's administration, because 2025 was actually not a full year budget, because the first 3 months was from the previous government, because that was the first year of this current government. And so it's just a year that you are now settling down as a government and then setting, systems in place. And so 2026 is the real rollout or implementation time for this current administration. And so normally the challenge is the budget not being fully executed, because the budget tells us what the government intends to do and how they intend to raise resources to do what they want to do. And so the focus is the raising of resources to enable them do what they want to do. So for me, if we are able to actually execute the budget as it is, Ghana will be at the level where we want it to be for 2026. And so implementation of the budget is key. And that one will be born out of how we are able to raise resources to do that. Because what is in the 2026 budget is a good one, where we see a lot of project infrastructure coming on board. And we have seen it going on. The big push is ongoing. We have seen how government is trying to build infrastructure in the schools, in the hospitals as well. And also industry. We pray that the areas that we are falling short, we will be able to upscale it. Unfortunately, we have had certain turbulence in terms of global economic challenges, like what is happening in the Middle East that is affecting government programs. But these things cannot be, overlooked, because every year we have to project for such contingencies. So far, I would say the budget for 2026 for Ghana is a very good budget. The issue is we've been able to raise the resources to live within the budget. And I think that the Minister of Finance is doing that, and I commend him for that. However, in doing that, we should be careful that it does not become detrimental to the economy itself. So whilst we are doing fiscal discipline, we are trying to be very much cautious with our spending. We should not let it delay honoring obligations. Means that when people do business with government, we should not delay in paying them, because when you do that, then it's going to negatively impact the businesses and economy. So yes, fiscal discipline is good, like the way the minister is going about it. But when you are changing the system and you are improving the system, it should not be at the detriment of what is already in the system. That's if you are putting in control in place, that control should not negatively impact what you have currently. And that is where I want the minister to look at, so that businesses will flourish And when businesses flourish, then that's where we'll see the expansion of the economy impacting lives. That is a key area.
But when you take a casual look at the 2026 budget, where we find ourselves right now, do you think that the budget has lived up to expectations? The things that were mentioned that would be done in that budget, have those things been done?
We have not been able to do as expected because we've not been able to raise the resources as expected. Even though it's performing, it is not at the level where we all want to see it. So, for instance, revenue has not performed as expected. And once your revenue is falling short of your expectation, you then have to be prioritizing your implementation of your expenditure areas as well. And that is one key area. Also, we didn't anticipate that this issue of Straits of Hormuz, that is the issue between Iran and US and Israel, will be happening the way it's happening. We didn't anticipate highly how gold prices will fall, even though it is expected. These are all impacting the economy because the economy was largely depending on gold export. Thank God the restructuring that has been done in the gold sector has actually helped us to manage the reserves of the economy. And that is one good thing that has come to help. However, if you ask of where the budget implementation is ongoing, how we have performed, I would say the performance has been fair, but it has not been as good as we wanted because of these challenges. However, the next 6 months ahead of us is a good time for us to see how we can adjust and get things done. So even though I don't see it as expected in terms of the rollout, the years ahead, the remaining months ahead can be a good one for us to upscale and then improve to be able to, fully execute it as we wanted.
I'm getting you. What you're saying is that although we've not been able to fully achieve the things we said we wanted to achieve, when you look at all of the challenges that are happening within the global space and even locally, you think that we've been able to handle things properly. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. That's what I brought up. Because if you look at what is happening globally, by now we should have gotten exchange rates across the 12s. If you look at the past 10 years, the second half of every year is normally a challenging time where we see depreciation of the cedi happening. And so that alone shows that the managers of the economy, especially the central bank and then the Ministry of Finance, who are the most critical or the pivot within which the economy revolves, their collaboration is what is helping to stabilize things the way we are seeing. Inflation, even though is moving up, we have seen that the government or the central bank's building of reserves has helped greatly in minimizing the impact that will have affected us. Of course, government also did well by helping to minimize fuel prices at the pump that will have gone up with the introduction of the temporary suspension of the 1 cedi that they did in order to help the prices at the pumps. So all these things shows that government, to a larger extent, has been closely monitoring happenings in the global economy and making sure that it doesn't overturn all the gains that we have had in 2025. So to a larger extent, the managers of the economy, yes, are doing what is expected of them, and they are commended for that. However, there's more room for improvement in the case that we need to see how to close a lot of the loopholes and leakages that are in the system that are affecting businesses. The reason why I'm saying so is because the growth of the economy is not reflecting directly in employment. And so you see that the areas where growth is taking place are not producing the employment levels that we expected. And so that's why I want government to focus, and I said that there's more room for improvement so that we can see how the growth of the economy will impact the employment levels. And so let's focus on that. Agriculture especially, government is doing a lot in agriculture, but what government is doing in agriculture, we are not seeing the impact in the employment levels, not because it is not going to the right places, but it's because the focus areas and then the timing. And so that's what I'm talking about. releasing of funds and then the timeliness of release of funds contribute greatly in order to go to the areas where the growth will take place.
If I'm to ask you to preempt what the finance minister would say today, what would you say?
I will say that the finance minister is going to tell us, or should be telling us, areas where they've seen gaps, where we are not seeing employment upscaling as expected. And so especially in manufacturing, because when employment is, for us to see employment, we must see businesses expanding. When businesses are expanding, then that is where they can employ more. And so I want to see that the minister is going to tell us that they are going to channel more of resources into employment generation areas or sectors of the economy so that the economy can expand at the right sector. If the economy is not expanding at the right sector, then that's going to be a challenge. So I want to see more from the finance minister that they are going to put in more resources into areas where when the economy grow, it will also reflect in employment as well.
I mean, but beyond employment, what other expectations do the Ghanaian people have of the finance minister from your perspective?
Revenue generation is one key area, and the people, if you look at the population of Ghana, the tax population of Ghana, and the number of people who are, paying taxes is still a major challenge. Government after government have been making every effort. This government has done so well by reducing the burden on businesses and individuals, by reducing some taxes that we refer to them as nuisance taxes that have been disturbing businesses, the COVID levy, the VAT regime that we are paying tax on tax. Government has done very well in doing that. And I think that if there's any good thing for us to do to also, reward government, is for us to also be compliant. And I think that the businessman or the Ghanaian always want to not to be tax compliant. So I want to tell the government that I want to see that the minister will let us know what they are doing to bring more people into the tax bracket, especially those in the informal sector, so that it will reduce the burden on already few people who are the one overburdened with the taxes that we are paying.
Interesting. You also did make mention that, of course, we are seeing some improvement in some parts of the economy. However, it's not directly reflecting in the lives of the people. There are so, pockets of complaints here and there from people on a daily basis. Actually, we know the C-top, even though all of the indicators seem to be looking good, all the microeconomic indicators, as you economists would usually put it, seem to be looking good, but people are not seeing a direct reflection in their lives. What could be accounting for this, and what measures are we hoping that today Kasela to Forcing would put in place to ensure that people feel the direct impact of all of these good indicators that we keep seeing?
Good. So let me give you a classic example for a better understanding. Interest rates have gone down drastically from over 30%. Currently is around, Ghana reference rate is around 10.59. Businesses will benefit from less interest cost. But the question is that businesses have gained. How have these businesses plowed back these gains into their expansion so that they can employ more? That has not happened. That has not happened because the infrastructure to enable them produce more is not there. When I say infrastructure to produce more is not there, is because if you are producing, a particular product, and now your cost of production has been reduced, it will not necessarily result in expansion if there is no market access. So if you are a farmer and now prices of fertilizer, let's say, are less, you are able to have access to input. Government is supporting you, but you produce and you cannot sell. Nothing will influence you to say, let me increase my farm acreage. And so the reason why we are not seeing it is because businesses are benefiting, but the people are not benefiting. People are not benefiting because the benefit is only remaining at the business level. So government has done very well to support businesses, but it's left with how the businesses can expand with the benefit they gain from government, so that people will be impacted as well. And so what we need to do is to ensure that people who are producing in the country, government brings policies that will protect the local producers so that they can sell more. And that will be what can help us. Other than that, employment will still be less, businesses will be benefiting, and the people who are supposed to also benefit from the businesses will not. And at the end of the day, we all know that most of the businesses are owned by foreign investors. And so they will make all the good profit, they will not expand, and they'll take it away. And that is why government should also look at from that perspective. So this is the reason why we are not seeing the impact as we are expected, because interest rates have gone down, inflation is low. So when you do investment now, at least your investment returns is higher than inflation. And in Africa, that is one of the best places to invest in, because investment returns are higher than in the external environment. And so when you see people, investors dominating, external investors dominating your economy, when things are looking better for businesses, you see that they are the ones who are gaining. And so the macros are in benefiting the businesses more than the individuals. And that is where the challenge is. And so I expect that whatever support the government will give, especially to the local businesses and local manufacturers, so that when they produce, they can sell. When somebody wants to go into farming, you can say that when I farm, I can get access. And one of the classic examples is that currently we have free senior high school where we have school feeding program as well, which means that we shouldn't have food glut. Recently, the Minister of Agriculture was saying that very soon there will be tomato glut. Why? How are we preparing towards that? To ensure that from a few months ago, we're having challenge with tomatoes. Now we are saying that very soon it will be in abundance. How are we preparing to ensure that the volumes that are going to come is actually going to be used by Ghanaians? So data is important. How much tomatoes in terms of metric tons are we expecting in the coming month? What is the tomato consumption in Ghana? If it is less than what is going to be harvested, then there will be excess. What is the plan for the excess? So that people will not be discouraged. And that is what we should be focusing on, that in 2 months, 3 months time, there will be a lot of tomatoes in abundance. That will be going waste. If it is the case, then how do we plan for it? Then every senior high school, how much tomatoes do they need? So that we can say, okay, then we can get this amount to tomatoes, so that people who will be importing tomatoes will tell them that no senior high school should import tomatoes or should buy imported tomatoes, because we are going to have enough in abundance. So you have to ring fence what you are expecting in the coming years. Then it will encourage people to go into it. So then when that happens, people will get employment. And that is how we will see the benefit of businesses cascading to the individual, the real economy. That will support everybody. And that is the aspect that we should be focusing on.
Interesting. Let me move you away from this one and tie in this conversation. Now, since the government assumed office, all of the things that the government has been able to achieve so far have been done locally. We've not seen any external borrowing. Everything has been done locally, borrowing from the domestic market and basically just relying on funds that are generated in country for all of the developmental activities that have been undertaken so far. Now, almost 2 years into the administration of the government, we have seen for the first time the government lay of course a loan agreement before Parliament, about $800 million US, the first 500 and the 300 million one that is meant for transforming senior high school education. Now the government has already started on this tangent. Are we looking at a situation where there will be more of these external borrowings, or you think that if the government has been able to perform well in the first bit of the 4-year tenure that the government has, we are less likely to see more external borrowing, or you think that we're seeing more external borrowing in the coming days?
Well, I think that, let me commend the government for that. That shows that we can generate enough revenue to do what we want to do, not entirely. But that is not also too good for the economy, because no economy can strive without borrowing. The reason is that most of government projects are not commercial in nature. So when government is building schools and hospitals, they don't charge fees that will enable those hospitals pay for themselves, just like private hospitals. So when government is building schools, the schools are free. So when you go to those senior high schools, you are not paying fees that will enable government to say they can generate enough to pay back the money they got for that. Because of that, government will always need support to execute its budget. And so borrowing in itself is not a bad thing, but it is needed. It is needed because of these social projects that government goes into that are not commercial in nature. The challenge we have faced in the past is how these loans are utilized, where we see a lot of wastage in the system. We all know that when you see government projects, especially those that have been stored, the monies that went into those projects, if those monies should be utilized properly, I can tell you that most of the projects will have been completed. We've seen hospital projects that have been lying idle that have not been completed, all because too much money went into it that could have completed it. And government comes and they still borrow money to complete those projects when monies have already been borrowed to complete those projects. So those are the challenges that we have. And I think that this government is actually living to expectation by telling us that they really meant to ensure that there's value for money. So they've established a value for money team committee or so that will ensure that when we borrow money, it goes into the right, project and judiciously used as well. These are things that shows that this government want to indeed reset the country. And that is why I commend them for that. So I'm hoping that the loan they are taking, there will be transparency in terms of utilization. If you say you are going to build 20 schools out of the loan you are taking, give us the timeline and let us see when you complete it and let us know that indeed it has been completed. Then we can track them. Unfortunately, we have not seen this in the past. So for me, what I'll tell government is that anytime you are taking loan, give us the utilization of that loan and let us track it. That is the oversight responsibility that the parliament must be doing, that they should help us know which projects these loans are meant for and whether those loans can complete those projects. So for instance, you are saying you are taking $100 million to complete the road from, let's say, 1,000 kilometers. If that is the case, we know that road and we know that this money will complete it, then we'll be tracking. But you took the loan that is used to complete this road. Why couldn't you complete? Then we can know. Then it will help us to appreciate the utilization of those loans. Things have been opaque in the past, and that is where we have not been able to track them. And so I'm hoping that currently what the government is doing, like the road minister, you will see him going around to inspect work that is being done by some of the contractors. And we have seen that some of them take loans, take the money, they don't do their work as expected, and nobody supervises them. Government will come and they will still be complaining. A lot is being done in the road sector, but we still have a lot of roads not being completed. Why? Because nobody is monitoring. So monitoring and then supervision by the arm of government that is expected should be enforced so that we will see the value. So for me, no problem. In as much as we commend government for not taking loan over the years, it is not too good for the economy because the economy needs money. It is because we don't utilize the loan as expected. Don't forget that in 2019, before COVID started, this economy received about 3 billion, one from the World Bank, one from the Central Bank, and then one from Eurobond, $3 billion. Unfortunately, just a year after we went to COVID came, and then we had a problem. It is terrible. So the question is that what was those monies used for? Nobody is asking, nobody is tracking. And so the issue is not going for money. The issue is how we use the money. And so once this government is bent on getting things done properly, I fully support them, and I'm hoping that will inure to the benefit of the economy.
Or chop. Let's borrow to do things that would actually develop the country. But in this case, we are borrowing we want to transform senior high school education. Question then becomes, how do we recoup all of these investments that we are putting in? Because we are not borrowing to put these monies into other revenue generation, ventures where they can operate and pay back, like we did with the Accra International Airport, where of course the loan was taken on the back of the books of the airport, and the airport, is paying back its own loan. For how long would we continue to move on this particular trajectory?
Yes, so because it's a country that you are managing, you cannot get funds to do everything that will pay for itself. And education is one of the key areas where government should focus attention on. So if we are borrowing money to build infrastructure in senior high schools where quality education will be improved, then I think that it is for a good cause that we need it. Like it is said, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. If you have a population that is not educated, the danger is that anybody who wants to, cause disturbances in the economy, he will go and mobilize them. They have nothing to lose. But if you have educated minds, where everybody is looking for something to do for himself or herself, you don't even go and get them before you mobilize them to say, come and let's go and demonstrate. Even if they will do so responsibly. And so education is very important. And so if government is borrowing to build infrastructure, I think we need it more because the population of Ghana is growing. And this is a youthful population. And so we need to expand this infrastructure for quality purposes. And that is key. And so for me, yes, it's good. And as I indicated, government cannot generate enough revenue to do all that they want to do in the budget. However, whilst they go and borrow, the borrowing must go into areas that are very important.
All right, Doc, of course, we do not have all the time. Would have to take leave of you, but would, of course, definitely be talking to you again when we are doing the pre-discussion for the media budget review. Then perhaps we can get into detail proper of the 2026 budget and try to tease out where we've been able to make some significant strides, where we are lagging behind, and what we expect that the finance minister would say during the media budget review. But we're most grateful for your time with us this morning. Thank you so much, and do enjoy the rest of the day until we talk to you again.
Same to you. Thank you for having me.
Great. So, viewers, that's Dr. Peter Tekpe. He's an economist and, of course, one of our in-house experts that we mostly would engage on issues of finance. Randy Haji is seated. I don't know if you want to share a few words before we go. We have just about 2 minutes.
Yes, I think Doc has actually laid the foundation for what to expect later in the afternoon. Hopefully around 1 p.m. we'll regroup for a pre-studio discussion before we cross over to Parliament, where the Finance Minister will be presenting his media budget review. But I mean, we will speak to other people, and I'm interested in what Dr. Peter mentioned with regards to the unemployment rate, jobs. Absolutely. So I told you yesterday that the data tells us that some 13% is what we are looking at. But can we really work around that and beat it down? So it's a concern that we'll be taking a look at this afternoon as well, Karim.
All right, so that's Randy Haji. At 1 p.m. we'll reconvene for the pre-discussion for the media budget review. For all of you who are watching us this morning who wanted to phone in, that would be the perfect time to share your takes and share your opinions and share your expectations as well. We'll meet you again later. Until then, that's bye for now.